Right. One sec.
As his daddy must be rich. Her daddy must have known.
All right, guys, we're starting right now. Looked like there was a bunch of people trying to log in and stuck. Was waiting to get them in. All right. Interesting day. Interesting day.
Yes. Good afternoon, Nico.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Your screen isn't being shared, Nico. And good morning.
Good morning. I am here. Just looking at all the faces. All right.
And good afternoon, good evening.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night, depending on where you're tuning in from. All right, guys. So we we had a big dump. We had a big dumpy dump last night. Was it predicted? I'd say so. Pretty sure. Pretty sure I said exactly where it was going, and that's exactly where it went. In case you need a reminder, let's just go into the Discord. Yeah, a couple days ago, let's see. Yesterday, BTC below the 101, now still en route to the original target. No bounces yet. Of course, I did have this drawn from a couple lives ago, and that was right here at the 98.8. I mean, literally, if I take this line, guys, it was right where that wick down right there. And then XRP coming down to its previous support zone at $1.98 to 215 area at the moment. Had that pointed out before it hit there, and it did hit that as well. I think that, we should be, I said, we should be seeing a bounce soon, both XRP and BTC, hopefully the 98 to 99 level for BTC, unless we wick down to fill the CME gap at 91 to 93. Well, we bounced BTC at the 99.8 level, coming to the 97.98 zone, which was really just the bottom of this upward trending channel that I had. And then right when it was there, right around 100 or so, I was getting ready to close out these two trades, 216 for XRP, which I did close out. Nice little profit. I know sometimes, guys, when you see my little 161% and my 37%, doesn't seem like much compared to the 2,000% gains at 500x in the chat. Let me just address that real quick, because 37% on $5,000 at 6x leverage is a much bigger profit, or 161% at 19x leverage is a much bigger profit than some of those ones you were seeing in the wins wall, where it's a ridiculously high percentage gain. No offense to any of these percentage gains, but when you're at 500x leverage, this is not a high percentage move. Now, depending, I don't have any idea what John or any of these guys are having at risk, but I do know from the recent little shuffle we had with Jake trying to recruit people in our group. I do know from, by the way, we got in the group. We we created fake accounts and got in that group to see what was happening. That's why we know what was going on. But the percentage gains were outrageous, but the amount of money being risked was $10, $5, $1. So to have a 3,000% gain with 500x leverage, no big deal when you're not risking anything. Guys, you can do that all day long. By the way, just to be clear here, we do teach that strategy. I talk about the RSI almost every single live call. Whether you want to scalp it on the lower time frames or not is totally up to you. I don't recommend it. It's a high risk strategy. And does it work once in a while? Yeah. Do you get lucky here and there? Yes, of course. But are you going to do the high risk strategy with $10? You're going to do it with $1,000 or $5,000. And if you want to go play penny slots at the casino, be my guest. Not only that, guys, but we're teaching you how to do this. So once you learn how to do it, you can go do it. You don't need to follow someone else. I think what we have here sometimes is shiny object syndrome, where we see someone in the group posting some ridiculous gains and you feel like you need to reach out to them because they must be doing something right. They must have a strategy that no one else knows. And that's just not the case, guys. They're taking what they learned. They're taking what they learned and have been in this group for a long time. And now they're tweaking it and they're going out and just doing, they can call it their own strategy if they want, but it really is just scalping the RSI. So I'm going to show you for free, so you don't have to pay anybody monthly for that, how that works. You go down to the 10 or 15 minute time frame. Let's just say the 15 minute to be specific. I mean, not for free. Obviously, you already paid to be in this group, but it's not something you have to go and pay somebody monthly to do. It's actually very simple. It's oversimplified, actually. But let's go down here. This is the 15-minute time frame. And down here is the stochastic RSI. I'm going to switch this. I'm going to close that out. And I'm going to switch it over to the RSI. Just a regular RSI. I need to get off USDT. Hold on one second. Let me go over to Bitcoin on a Bitcoin margin. By the way, when I closed out those trades in profit and then opened the new open positions, which were the new entries that I gave here, where I said long now with low contracts, hit the 98 range as predicted, but possible to continue, and it did double bottom and then bounce up. This was the first time it hit. It did come up here and double bottom and then bounced out. Since then, I entered long with Bitcoin and XRP, and there was the signal there. Both of those are in profit right now, $117 on this one, $200 on this one. I am negative overall $1,000 because I was already long on Bitcoin way up here at 110, and I was long on XRP at 249. I just stayed in those longs because I didn't think it was going to come down that much. And because my leverage is so low, 6x here and 7x or 7x here, I didn't have any liquidation to worry about, and I didn't have a lot of money toward at risk. So but two of these, the ones that I reversed after the short, after this double bounce, as you can see, perfect double bottom right here, climbed out, broke out of the downward trending resistance, and then popped out. Let's just look at the regular RSI, relative strength index right here. And guys, what we're doing, what that strategy is real simply is that when we are overbought, oversold down here underneath the bottom dotted line on the RSI. So let's just look at it. Right, this bottom dotted line and this dotted top line. So we got the 30 and the 60. When we're below the 30, the strategy, the RSI strategy is to go long. And when we're above the 70, it is to go short. Now, let's just look at the price and see how that would have worked out for you. Right here. Below the dotted line, oh, it's coming back up. Let's go long. And what happened was it just went, it cupped around and then dropped further. So that would have been a loss. Let's look at this one. Oh, it's coming. It went below. Let's go long. What did it do? It didn't even go up higher and then dropped lower. That would have been a loss for you. What about this one? Oh, it's below. It's below. Let's go long. Now, if you would have went long and stayed in it, well, it depends on where you put your stop loss. And if you didn't have one, you would have been okay. But it did drop further. And then if you would have went long on the second one, it did go up and drop all the way back down again. So you would either been really negative or it would have hit your stop loss. Now, if you have no stop loss, that's okay. You'd have been okay on that one. And then here we are coming up. So does it work all the time? Hell no, especially not on the lower time frames. So that's why I don't tell you to do that. And certainly wouldn't tell you to do it with 200 to 500x leverage. Now, if you know what you're doing and you know how to trade and you know how to scalp and you know how to get in and out real quick, then by all means, guys, go do what you want. But what I'm trying to teach you how to do is a safer way to accumulate. Let's compare accounts at the end of the year and see who's got more money in it. That would be more of a strategy there that you would want. You know, sometimes slow, methodical, consistent, boring wins the race at the end of the day. So I just wanted to bring that up. Now, there might be some other strategies. There's certainly other strategies that I don't really teach. And there are scalpers out there that make $6 million a month, but they have millions in their account and they're just looking for a tiny little move in the market. And we have a member, TJ, who turned a very small amount into a huge amount in a very short period of time, scalping and doing something very similar. But his strategy is not really teachable to everyone else. It's very, very, very technical on a very tight basis, and you have to be glued to your screen. Now, he did switch from that strategy. He's not really doing that strategy anymore. He did build his account up pretty good with it, and then he switched over to a more swing trade type of situation. But he might even be trading RSI moves as well. And don't get me wrong, RSI is important. I use it every day. I talk about it on every call. But I'm usually doing it on the much higher time frames, looking at the bigger picture. So if we go up to the weekly time frame, for instance, now look what would have happened if you would have shorted the RSI above the 70 on the higher time frame. RSI way up here, short. That would have been very profitable. RSI way down here below this line, long. What would have happened? It would have went a little bit lower. You may be in trouble there. You might have been a little bit negative. But if you're down at the bottom and it's starting to climb, that would be when you get in on the RSI. If you're just going to RSI trade alone. Overbought, oversold. Overbought. Right now, it's right in the middle. Is it going to go down further or is it going to go up? We did bounce on the 98K after wicking all the way down to that line perfectly, just about right. Yep, 98 right there. Right where I had that circle. Now, it didn't come. Now, here's the thing, guys. It came to 98K, but it didn't come to the circle. And why is that important? Well, that circle represented the level that I thought it was going to come to, but not the intersection with the upward trending support. Now, maybe it did hit that. If I really go back and look at this upward trending support, do I have it really dialed in where it needs to be? Let's look. I have it all the way wick down to here. If I move it just a little bit, just to touch that wick, right there, does it still work? Does it work everywhere else? Kind of. I mean, it wicked down here. The candle stopped right at that line, but the wick wicked all the way down to retest the 74K when we bounced out of there. And so that could be exactly what happened there. Here, we wicked down all the way to here, which was a retest of previous resistance right there. And then it held above this line ever since. So I would say that line is still there. And once it came back up, it retested, it went below it, and then bounced back above it. And you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 stayed above this line. So I'm thinking that is a pretty solid line. And so it is possible that we not only wicked down to the 98K, but we wicked down right at the conjunction or the intersection of these two support lines right there, and that my circle could have been right there. Either way, that might be all it takes. We might be on the rebound right now. Should we see a double bottom? Should we see another drop down? I mean, does it happen? Yeah, it can, but also sometimes it doesn't. Here we had a bounce way up high, come back down. This one opened and went all the way down even lower before bouncing out. This one came all the way to the line, wicked all the way below it, and then still went way up high. This would be the equivalent of us coming down to 98 and going all the way back up to, 120 and then coming back down almost. Yeah, because this would be 126, would be like 120. So that would be a serious bounce. So here's what I'm going to say, guys. I'm going to say that we are range bound right now. We are in a range, and the range is between 98K. You could say 98.5, 98.8, something like that, somewhere right there. 98.5, let's just say between 98.5 and 110.5. I'm going to move this down to right there. And I'm going to make it a range. This is just me personally. You could do what you want if you don't agree with me. But that's where we're at. Range bound. What does that mean? That means to me that we need to get above this to still be bull market, to still be bullish going into the rest of the year in order for us to really pump up and get a new all-time high, which certainly can happen. This bounce might be all we needed to get there. Or we need to be below 98 for me to feel bearish. Like we're going to see a much bigger drop to the downside. And I would say that if we did do that, it would probably be down here into the 91, somewhere in this little zone right here. Be 91 to 93 zone. Only because of the CME gap. And that would be a far cry away from this upward trending support. I mean, have we wicked below it that far before? I mean, this was a nice wick down right here. But that was the 78 down to 74.5 wick. This would have to be a 98 down to 91.5 wick. I mean, it's like twice as far. Now, is it possible? Sure, of course. Everything is. I never say anything's impossible, guys, but here's what might be impossible. Here's what might be impossible. If I go over to the trading view chart here, we are in the Gaussian channel on the 5-day. We have wicked down to the center line. That is not good. We need to get back out. Now, as you can see, we have done that before and got back out and made a new high. We did it here. Went down to the center line, bounced out, got back to the center line, bounced out, got back, and then finally broke to a new all-time high. So we've done it. We've done it before a couple times. But this time and this time was like the only time ever that we did that. So why is it happening? So there is something strange happening in this bull market that is unlike any other. And that is also something we talked about a couple weeks ago, which is the pie chart, the pie cross. I can't remember where Bill, do you know where I find the pie cross chart? Are you on?
It was in the indicators. It's the pi cycle top, something to that effect. But it's not under, I don't think it's under the symbols. I think it's, you need to use it on a certain chart, don't you?
Oh. Sorry.
It's been a while since I've used it.
Yeah, for some reason I thought it was an actual indicator.
It's an indicator. It's an indicator. It's not a symbol. I think you do have to use a certain chart, though. Let me look at pi. I used to have it on, but I had to take it off. By Bilzerian Candle. And let's see what it says here.
I see it, Bilzerian.
It's on the Brave, when you go to, after you get it on your chart, go to Brave New Coin Liquid Index for Bitcoin.
Up here? I mean, you mean go to a different chart?
Yep, different chart. Brave New Coin. Liquid index, it says. I don't see it. It's on his chart. I'm going to share the publication link with you in the Zoom chat so you've got it. And then you can
Is it
look
on
at it.
crypto or futures?
That's a good question. I'm looking at his chart to see what he was looking at. Let me just type in liquid. Bitcoin. Okay, so type in just the word liquid. That worked. And it's the very first one. And then the weekly chart.
Still not showing across the actual lines.
Mm.
Maybe because I got the Gaussian channel on.
Is it a different indicator? that
Well,
does
it usually shows the actual lines like, and then the cross happened here, and then
Oh, okay.
we have a line, and this is the cross, and then boom, cross, and then what we're waiting for, guys, is the pi cycle. The reason why I wanted to bring this up is because you can see the pi cycle top. We don't have a pi cycle top showing here yet, and we don't have a cross. What the pi cycle cross means is that so far throughout history, not just going back to 2017, but all the way to 2011, all the bull markets, the pi cycle cross basically indicated the top of the market. Whenever
So if
we
you
had a
go-
cross on the pi cycle, that was the top. And if
you
you
go
find it, I'm sorry.
in the input, go in the inputs. It's there in the inputs. You
Oh,
gotta
okay.
turn it up. Right there, the moving averages. Unchecked box that says show moving averages. I'm
Oh,
pretty sure
show
that's
moving.
what you're looking for.
Duh.
No, you're good.
All right, guys.
I believe that's it though.
It does look like it could be. This is what I wanted you to see. I didn't want you to just take my word for it. All right. So that is, thank you, Bill.
Of course.
So what we're showing here, guys, is look at all the pi cycle crosses. Every time the pi cycle crossed, it was the end. That was the top. We have a cross right here. Boom. I mean, look at the line. It's right at the very top. Right here, we have a cross. You can see it right there where the red line crosses the green line. Boom. That was the top. Right here, we crossed. Right there, when these two lines get together. Right there. Boom. Right there's the cross. That was the top. Crazy, right? And here again, boom, that was the top. Now we did double top in 2021. We hit 64.5 and we came around and hit 68. And this was a little higher than this one, but that's called a double top. This was the top of the market. That was the top of the bull market because even though this one came up a little bit higher, it never held above. So if I draw this is the only example of this if I draw a trend line to the top, at 64.8 right here, which you can't see, it's behind that little thing, but it's 64.8 was the top. You can see here, we did wick up to 68.7, but we never held above that. So this is just called the double top. It's not really the all-time high. This was. But here's the thing I want to show you. We come to current times, guys, we're not even close to crossing. So what does that mean? Well, it's okay if we had like 6 months left of the bull market, but we only have like, let me just go to the 12 month. We only have 1 month and 27 days until technically the end of the 4-year cycle or the 3 years of the bull market. So bull markets go up 3 years and they go down 1 year. So we are the pi cycle cross is showing so far away that it wouldn't be even possible for it to cross until like March. And that would mean we would have to continue to go up until this red line and this green line crosses. If all things considered, history repeats itself. And it has so far every time. So this is the weird thing. This is what makes this bull market so strange. There's a lot of things that normally happen that are not happening at the time that they're supposed to happen. And so that's why people say, yeah, but this time is different, right? So, when we do technical analysis, I look at all these different things to try to come up with answers for everybody, but there are some things I don't have a crystal ball and I can't say. So what we do is, instead of trying to predict what's going to happen, we just play what's happening. We deal with what's actually happening on the charts right now, rather than try to worry about what may happen. But so that's why I come up with this range right here. If we get above the 110.5 and we hold, we are probably en route for new all-time highs. The bull market is still strong. It's still going. It's just taking its sweet time. And yeah, maybe we have a situation like back in 2021 where we do have a top like 64.5, and then it comes down, and then it goes all the way back up and beats it a little bit. So right now, we the top was 126 right here, 126.3, something like that. Maybe we do come down to 90 some K, and we come all the way back up and double top. What would be different between that and what happened back in 2021? That's what happened here. We hit a top at 64. That's when the pi cycle crossed, and we dropped 50% all the way down to 29K, 28.5, something like that. And then came all the way back up to 60, 68. And we could not hold above this, which was very strange. But there was also other things going on. We had COVID. We had the XTF. What is it? XTF? I can't remember what it was called.
FTX.
FTX.
And that's the one that brought down everything. Everything just went down after that.
Yeah, everything kind of went to shit after that. That was the big crypto scam of the decade. And then we just kind of fell into the bear market. But also the timing was up. I mean, this was November. I mean, this right here was April. When we came down and we came all the way up, November, December, right here. Going into December, right here. Boom, December. So this is the time that we normally hit all-time highs, guys, in bull markets. And we are right here. So the end of this month going into December is usually the big, rah-rah moment. And that's every bull market, not just the last one, but every time. This is December right here. This is November right here. October right here, October 31st, going into November. Right here. November, December. Bam. All the way up to December 17th. Pull back all the way down to here and then pump back up. Right there is January 8th. And that was it. Beginning of the end. Look at this. October, right here. October. Pull back. November. Boom. November. December. Boom. Drop all the way down here. Jump back up. Drop all the way down here. Jump all the way back up. Right here is January 5th. Very similar to the one I just showed you a minute ago before the bear market started. Now we're all the way back in 2013. Look at this. March, April, May. Oh, this was all part of the same bull market. That's why. I don't know if you guys remember back then, but we had a big pump to the upside in April, and we came back and we just kind of came right back up. That was November right here before we really took off. That was in June. There was no bull market or bear market cycles here. This is just when June, July of 2009 going into 2010, it was just up for a while. This was technically the first bull bear market cycle in 2011 coming down here before going into the next bull market. So we only have 3 other, examples to even look at. But the pi cross has always been an indicator of the beginning of the end. And it looks like it's crossing here, but this is where it crossed. And so same here. This is what's concerning, guys. This is what makes this different. Like if we were about to cross right now, I would be saying, guys, we're coming into the end of the year. We're coming to a cross. Once this crosses, that's it. That's the top. But I can't say that. I really don't know. Now that's just the pi cycle cross that has always crossed at the top. So this either means that this time is different and we have a long way to go before the top is in, or this is going to be the first time it doesn't happen. Those are the only two options there, right? And
In the
or
Zoom chat, I
say that
shared
again.
in the Zoom chat, I just shared something that CoinGlass put together for us. It's bull market peak signals, and it's all the top indicators. And it's really slick. You should take a look at it. Right now, it says hold 100%. Somebody brought this up on the call last week, and it is slick.
Yeah,
None,
yeah.
none of it. Yeah.
None hit yet. That's it. So pi cycle top indicator is number 2 on the list. And it's at 50% away. In my opinion, it's not even close, guys. Let's just go back and look what would have to happen here. So with that being said, we could continue to just do this. Right? And we could get higher, 40, 140, 150, 160. And the pi cycle could do this and start to come closer. It could. And then we could shoot up to 200,000. And these could cross. And then that would be it. But it would have to do that. In order for everything else to stay normal, it would have to do that in the next 1.5 months. Now, is that possible? The answer is also yes. It has done that. It has Bitcoin has had 40% gains in November and December, more than twice throughout the history of it in bull markets. So that is possible. The question is what would have to happen in order for that to happen? I don't see us going up to $200,000 or $300,000 in the next month or two, but it doesn't mean it can't. But something would have to, it would have to be a major catalyst in order to make that happen, in order for people to be that bullish, in order for that much buying pressure to come into the market. And so with that being said, what else could be? What else could be the case? Well, it could be just a prolonged bull market. In other words, we could go into January, February, March, and maybe it will be more like 2011 back in the beginning, where we didn't really go into a bear market until April, May. But that was the first one. And we really didn't get our feet wet yet back then. We didn't have any. To me, it's like a child learning how to walk or crawl. They don't, there's no history yet. They don't know what they're doing yet. They're just getting their legs. And there was no price history. But so now there are some people out there that say no matter what Trump says, no matter what anybody does, no matter what you're being told, the bull market, the bear market, the charts don't lie. This is what's going to happen and this is when. But I can't say that with a straight face that that's exactly the way it's going to play out, because things do change. Nothing is set in stone forever. And we could certainly change course and something different could happen. So let's look at the EMA ribbon. There are other indicators that can give us an idea of what's going on. We are definitely below. We flipped the EMA ribbon bearish. We're definitely below it. Let me turn off the eye right now for a minute. I'm on BLX. Let me go over to so we definitely flip the EMA on the daily. And we wicked all the way down to the bottom of it on the weekly. And that happens every time that has happened. It was the beginning of a new pump to the upside. Another thing is this orange line. This is a long running support and resistance line going all the way back to 2011. Right here. And we get above it, we stay above it, we get below it. We've gotten above it, we've hit on it, we've bounced on it several times, and we've been above it for a long time. 10 years. And we still got a little bit of ways to go. I would say that if we got below that, then it's definitely bear market territory. And that would basically be somewhere up in here, somewhere under, well, it would definitely be under the 98K. It would have to come under the 98K, but it would also have to basically get under that orange line. And I'm not so sure that's going to happen anytime soon. Zach, what are you referring to? Wouldn't what be a good thing? Yes, as far as the pi cycle cross, that would indicate that there's much more upside, unless all other, and see, the thing is the pi cycle cross has always done what it's supposed to do, right? It usually always indicates a top, and we're nowhere near it, so that means the top is not in. But the problem with it is that all the other indicators usually indicate a 4-year market cycle, and we are at the top. We are at the top end of the 3rd year of a bull market, which normally never goes past December 31st. And so the question is that is it possible for us to have a pi cross within the next month and a half? In order for that to happen, the price would literally need to get up in the 230,000 range for Bitcoin or more, maybe 240. Now, is that possible? The answer is still yes. But I mean, there's hardly any buying pressure just to keep it above, 100K right now. So it's very unlikely. Now, could that happen in 4 months, 3 months, 4 months? Yes. If we have an extended super cycle, an extended bull market where we just don't, it just doesn't stop, it just continues to slowly grind up, then we could say bull markets and bear markets are over. This time is different. But is it going to just shoot up to 230 or 240? I can see XRP doing that based on some other reasons, but Bitcoin, it's been we 7x'd in the last 3 years. In this bull market, we 7x'd. Went from 15.5 all the way up to 126. Almost 8x. William says, Trump speaking in about 25 minutes, get ready for a dump. Joe says, we need someone to put tape over Powell's mouth for the rest of the bull market. Keith, people forget the irrational exuberance comments of Greenspan years ago. Yeah, people forget a lot of things, guys. They forgot 9/11, and then they just elected a socialist mayor in New York. People don't learn shit. People forget a lot. And I don't want to hear if you care or if you endorse the guy or not. I don't care. I don't even like New York. No offense to any New Yorkers. I'm more of a cows and beaches guy. It's funny because I have a lot of New York friends. I love New York. I go to New York for the weekend. I have a good time, but I can't wait to leave. For some reason, it's just too chaotic for me. But I'm not a big city guy, but I just don't like the politics, and I don't like what's going on up there. Businesses and taxes and all that nonsense. That's why so many multi-billion-dollar companies are just moving to Florida. And so actually, I wish they would get their act together so that less people would move to Florida. Nick, you're asking in New York. I'm not sure what you were referring to. Yes. I'm not in New York. Yes, Nick. That guy got elected. He won. That might turn out to be actually good for New York. They might need one more point of pain to really see the difference. But my point is that what was I just talking about? Oh, people forgetting a lot. Yeah, they forget a lot. I mean, I still see people posting in other crypto groups, free groups saying, "Is Bitcoin over? I mean, is crypto over now? Is it dead?" I'm like, I don't even understand what people are talking about or thinking, but a lot of people don't. They don't understand what's going on at all.
They have no idea.
They really don't. It's the
I think
crazy.
that I think it's still regardless, the market is still a good market because I mean even if you're not if you can make on the leveraging you can make some money there, but you can definitely make money on going in and buying as much as you can now that it's low, and hold on to some of the coins. So people that were trying to get it at a lower, here it is.
Yep. Well, not only that, but it's not really low, guys. I mean, we're still at 100K. I mean, we're still at $103,000 for Bitcoin, which, just a couple of years ago it was 15,500. So, and if you just look at history, and if you just go back far enough on these charts, you'll see it just keeps going higher and higher and higher over time, not lower. So, yes, we have these big pullbacks. We go up higher, we have a pullback. We go up higher, we have a pullback. We go up higher. And that's just kind of the way it is. But a bear market could bring us down to the 70K range. 60 could, certainly. But is that really low? I mean, it's low from 100, it's low from 126, but if you look at it, it's the same as it always is, where we hit an all-time high and we come back down in a bear market to a much lower, basically a consolidation zone where it consolidates, and then finally climbs to a new high. And then it comes back down to consolidation zone, usually previous all-time high. And then it consolidates and then goes up to a new all-time high and then comes down. Because this drop right here took 8 months. A lot of people don't remember that, but when we hit 74.5, which is the first time we had a new all-time high from the previous bull market, and then we consolidated for 7 months and came all the way back down to 48K from 73. You guys remember, that is a huge drop from this price point. That was a 32% drop to the downside. We haven't had 32% drop yet since then. So if we go here and we look at this one right here, that was well, yeah, I guess we did. When we hit 109 and came down to 74.5, that was a 32% drop. When we hit 126 and just now came down to 98, that's only a 23% drop. So the drops are getting smaller, actually. They used to be huge. Like this one, there's some back here, like this one right here was 60%. And that was not a bear market. That was just a pullback. Some of these are monstrous, like, and most people just don't remember. And so therefore they think every big drop is just the end of the world.
So I thought about you a lot when the market yesterday, when I see that at 99, I said, man, Nico said it was going 98, and I was just smiling. So what do you think it'll take time wise to start to slowly, climb up or maybe go to an all-time high? What do you think?
I mean, it's doing it now. It's not really a fast push to the upside, so I'm a little concerned that we might not be done. It's not really it's super fast. I mean, it is climbing. It is climbing. I'm up 22% on XRP, up 45% on Bitcoin on those entries from the bottom. Let's just go to a lower time frame and see. I mean, guys, we were at 98. I mean, we're up $4,000 since then. About 5%. So I think we need to get above the 110.5 up here. And here's a couple of reasons. So one, we have this big zone that we're in. That's the range zone. That's the sideways ranging zone. This is the downward trending resistance line from the all-time high up here at 126. And we are basically in the apex of the range now. So if I just bring this all the way down, and this down here is upward trending support at the 98K at the same juncture. I mean, look at where that hit. It's kind of amazing. Hit the 98K right at the upward trending support, bounced. I would say that we need to break out of a few things here. We need to get above 106, which was support and resistance, support, resistance, support and resistance, and break out of this kind of apex that we're in. I'm just gonna change the color for this for the corner here so we can see it. Get rid of all this other stuff. I mean, that was a big drop from 106, 107 all the way down to 98 right there without really any resistance. I mean, there was a little support, maybe some support here at the 105, and then we came up and retested it right here. Maybe. Nah, hardly. And so we might be coming up to retest these levels right here, guys, but to me, this was a nice, I mean, we hit this a couple times. I'm on the hourly right now, but we hit it, and then hit it, and then started to climb. And we started to climb out of a couple downward trending resistance lines. So it depends on where you want to put your line, but on a lower time frame, that was resistance, 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 support, and then climb out. And then if I want to take this all the way up to here, maybe. And we're already breaking out of that. We probably will retest it and continue to climb up. So there's a couple, and that's on lower time frame. So I'm not overly concerned with that. So I'm more and more like getting away from worrying about the lower time frame stuff, guys. Can you scalp it? Yes. Can you make money on it? Yes. But if you want to get in a position and hold it and stay in it and then move your stop loss into profit and not have to worry about, like right now, I can certainly move the stop loss. Let me see BTC. I can put a stop loss at 1015 just to get it on the board. That's Bitcoin margin. 101,500 plus 5%. There it is. It's in profit. I can move it up higher if I want to, but we could have some pullbacks. Obviously, this also looks like it possibly is a little bit of a lopsided W forming here. Probably looks better on a lower time frame. Looks like a W here, which did break out to the upside. But yeah, I mean, we could come back and retest this as support. We hit it, broke out, hit it right there as resistance. I mean, it was resistance. We hit it as support there. So we probably don't need to, but if we did, that would probably be the first level of support before climbing higher. But that's the thing. When you're in and out all the time, I don't really worry about that. I don't really care. Now that I have my stop loss in profit, here's my entry. Stop loss is in profit. I could move my stop loss up a little bit. In fact, I will, just to keep it under that line at 102,115 or 102. Yeah, 102,115. XRP looking very, very similar to Bitcoin. I mean, we're definitely in a downward trending resistance. We were. Nice little downward trending channel, double bottom, bounce, hit the resistance breakout, retest as support, double bottom, climb. So textbook. I'm gonna put a stop loss into profit here too. It might be a little premature to do that because let me just see where. I'll just put it right here under at $2.20. It's not quite a percentage gain, but it is, it would prevent the loss if it spiked down and hit it. I'm in profit right now, about $130 on that one, but obviously what we want is all of this to climb out now, and that for that to be the big, for that to be the big bounce and the big bottom. Obviously there's another thing. There is the CME gap at 91.5, approximately in that area, but that doesn't mean it has to get hit right now or ever. Yep, XRP bounced off the W. It was a nice W, broke out, retested the top of the W right there, and is climbing. So how far do we think that's going to go? Let's just take a line on the W. It's probably already there now, getting close to it. Well, what do you know? It's the next resistance level right here at 232. Probably where it's going over the next couple hours. W, Sandy, the W pattern is generally bullish. They usually break to the upside 70% of the time, equal to the distance of the depth of the W. Same with M patterns. M's are basically upside down W's. W's are just upside down M's. And M patterns generally break to the downside. Liga says everyone probably won't sell at all-time high at this time. Yeah, it does depend on your goals, obviously. If you're holding long-term, guys, and you're just a hodler and you're buying and holding, you're gonna just be along for the ride, the big roller coaster up and down. If you're waiting 10 years, if you got a 10-year goal and you're just gonna hold Bitcoin, for instance, let's just say Bitcoin, could be any crypto, but let's say you just want to hold for 10 years, then you're just going to have to deal with all the ups and downs. You're going to have to deal with the price appreciation and depreciation roller coaster during that time, which can be frustrating. It can be stressful. So, and it's not, and it still will be profitable, but is it going to be as profitable as if you knew Bitcoin goes up comes down, goes up, comes down, goes up. You got $10,000 of the Bitcoin here. Goes up 10x, you got 100 grand here. Goes down 5x, you got 50,000 here. Goes up 10x, you got 250,000 here. Goes down 20x, you got, I don't know, brain's not working. It's 15, 20 grand, whatever it is here. And then it goes up 50x. No, it's not going to go up 50. We're not going to have 50x moves, guys. It's going to be the law of the law of diminishing returns is showing us over time that all of these giant pumps, these 1000x moves to the upside, 100x, 20x, 8x. They're getting lower, less and less and less. You see this curve? Don't get me wrong, Bitcoin will grind its way up to $1 million, but are we going to see a huge spike up to 500,000 or $1 million in a couple of weeks or a month or two? I don't personally think so. That's going to take mass adoption, mass liquidity coming into the market from something. We've already had all the ETFs. Now we got billionaires and billion-dollar companies all piling in, and they are buying a lot of it. Michael Saylor just himself is pretty much propping up the entire Bitcoin market.
I think by the time it hits those numbers, we'll definitely be closer to 2030. That's all.
Yeah.
And by the way, to your answer, it's better to know both. It's better to be able to use your right and your left hand. So it's better to know what to hold, and it's better to also know that you can actually make money day to day with what you're also holding. So I have two different separate accounts.
Yeah. And I know a lot of you, I know you're here because you want to be told what to do and how to make the most of it. Everybody's a little different, but me personally, I have multiple accounts. Some are hodling accounts. Some are just buy and hold. Some are just continue to accumulate, continue to buy on a regular basis, regardless of the price. But when it drops like it did, when XRP drops all the way down to $2.10, or like a couple of weeks ago on the 10th, when it dropped down to $1.25, you try to buy more during those times, which is counterintuitive to what most people actually want to do. Normally, when something drops really fast and furious, people get scared and want to get out. They want to cut their loss. They want to stop the bleeding. But smart investors buy more during that time. So you can make short-term gains and long-term gains. You can buy for the long term, accumulate for the long term. It's one of those things that you just don't see happen. It's the frog in the boiling water theory. Kind of like what happens in society over time. No one would ever, they say history repeats itself. That's because people don't learn the lesson, or people don't live long enough to remember the lessons. But if you got some vision and you got some stick-to-itiveness and you're disciplined, it's kind of like exercise and fitness. If you just cut out 300 calories a day from what you normally eat, you might not see a huge difference 3 days down the road. But 6 months down the road, you have what's called a deficit, and your body is burning more and more calories, and you will start to lose weight, and you will start to see it in your clothes. You will start to see it in your face. You will notice the difference over time. But that takes discipline, and you have to know that what you're doing is actually right. It's the right thing to do. It actually works. It's a system. It's a formula. It's science. It's math, right? And so when you apply that to investing, it's the same thing. You got to start somewhere. So let's just say you put $50 a week into a Roth IRA, or you put $50 a week into your Bitcoin or your XRP. I would not recommend a Roth IRA or 401k or any of that nonsense these days, knowing what we know now. I'm not saying that if you already have one, you should abandon it, but it's really just a forced savings account with fees that make it almost almost non-productive. Basically, it's just keeping up with inflation, but that is better than not keeping up with inflation, right? So it's better to have it than not have anything. But we know that had you just bought Bitcoin over the last 10 years, and let's just say your choice was to put money in your 401k or Bitcoin over the last 10 years, which one would have fared better? Now you might say, well, yeah, hindsight is genius. No one believed in Bitcoin back then, and no one would have ever recommended doing that. No one still to this day. Your financial advisor will not recommend that because they can't make money on you doing it.
Nico,
Yep.
I have a Roth IRA, but I have almost all leveraged crypto stocks in it.
Yeah, good. You're smart. Most people don't. They have a basket of funds that they just trust someone else to pick for them, and that's it. And they hope for the best. 20 years go by, and things grow 10% per year, 10% per year, 10% per year, 10% per year, 10% per year. You look at your account, wow, it's a lot more than I started with. I'm so glad I did that. And then one recession, one depression, one economic collapse, bam, 40% down. And you just lost, 4 years of growth in earnings all in 1 month. That happens over and over and over again. And sometimes it happens to people at the worst time, right when they're about to retire, right when they need the money the most.
Guys, are you talking about leveraged ETFs?
No, I was just talking about 401ks and Roth IRAs and things that people have as financial instruments, but you're more than welcome to talk about leverage ETF.
Oh, that gentleman that was just talking to you, he said that he had leveraged crypto stocks, but I was wondering if he was just referring to the ETFs.
Oh, Kimmel?
I think that by definition, it is a ETF.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you. Gotcha. Thank you.
It's not a stock. Okay.
What is the ticker sign on those?
Kimmel, if you got a ticker sign on those?
Probably something like iBit.
Oh, was that Kimmel or William?
Oh, it was somebody else. I think
think
it was
Kim-
Kimmel. I was just answering for him because I don't know if he was away from his computer and heard or not. But yeah, I know you can't actually get physical crypto on the stock market. So it has to be an ETF, an exchange traded fund.
Yeah, it's on mine is on Fidelity. They just put it on there a couple of months ago.
Yeah, if you could share the tickers, that would be great. Thank you.
I think the Bitcoin is BITU and XRP is XRPU or XRPT. I'm sorry.
Any other ones? Just XRPT?
This one on Solana, SOLT.
Okay.
Is it XRP ETF you're referring to? Is that a futures ETF or spot ETF? Because my understanding is that the spot ETF for XRP has not been approved by the SEC yet.
The XRPT is available like on Schwab, Fidelity, and it's a 2x. The same with the Solana, and then the BITU is like a 2x on Bitcoin.
Gotcha. Yeah. I think those are probably futures ETF. Okay, thanks.
You guys hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
I'm clear.
Yeah.
My Zoom froze. I had to refresh it, so I apologize. All right. Yeah, we can get Kimmel or whoever has that information to post that somewhere. I'll tell you what has really done well is, let me just pull up my E-Trade account because there are some stocks that have really flown over the last. TEM, Tempest AI. Up 783%. And I bought that when I heard that Nancy Pelosi had bought it. She sold something and bought this, so I bought it. And that shit is up. I can't even believe it.
Which one is that one?
Tempest AI, TEM is the ticker symbol. TEM, NASDAQ, Tempest AI Inc. Let's see. Quite a bit on that one over the while. Let's see right now. Well, then again, I was in a long options trade. That's why I made that much percentage. But
Hey, Nico, I got a quick question.
Yep.
This is Jason. I just kind of joined like 2 weeks ago. It's kind of off topic, but what do you use? It's kind of personal, but IULs or UILs, Universal Index Life Insurance?
Yeah, I do with my real estate investment company.
Oh, okay. I was looking into that and didn't know like what the best place to like where you like purchase that or get into that. You see it all over the internet now. It's but I was just curious on it, kind of doing some research. So I
Yeah, if you want
appreciate
to
it. Thanks.
if you want to send me DM, I can connect you with my guy he'll schedule a call with you and go over it. I mean, it depends on how much you can put into it also,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, we got our savings. My wife, she saves and she's all, it just sits there and makes really nothing. And it's like, we got a nice chunk of change. And I'm like, it's a way to become your own bank kind of. So
yeah,
it's,
if you can
and,
contribute to
get
it,
6 to 8% a year. So
yeah, I mean, like to give you guys an example of what we're talking about, if you don't already know, it's like if you can contribute, hypothetical, just to throw out numbers, if you can contribute 50,000 a year. So it depends on how much you make, obviously, but if you contribute 50,000 a year, that's $500,000 that you've contributed to this in 10 years. And that will be it. You will never contribute again after that. You will have $1 million or 500,000 contributed, but it continues to go up in value over time after that for your retirement. But you can immediately, you don't even have to wait 10 years to do it. You can borrow against it. So the 50 grand you put in your first year, you could literally borrow right back out. And you're still getting the growth in the dividend on the deposit. And you can or may not pay it back if you don't want to. It's your money you're borrowing against. But your insurance policy, on the other hand, is in case something happens to you, covers your death or whatever to your heirs, is let's just say $1 million for that example. And over time, the cool thing about it is that 50K a year that you put in, let's say in 10 years is 500K, maybe 15 years or 20 years from now, it's worth 1.5 million. You could pull out 500 grand cash if you want, which is all the money you've contributed, right? If you're still alive, obviously. I mean, I'm older, so I'm not going to be talking about what's going to happen 20, 30 years from now. But if you're younger, you can use that money for whatever you want and it's still technically there in that account. You just borrowed against it. And you can certainly even pay it back from the increased value as it goes. Now, I'm not explaining it like a insurance financial advisor would explain it, but just to give you an idea, it's pretty cool. But you do have to contribute, and you have to continue to contribute for a certain period of time. I don't know if that's what you're referring to.
Yeah,
but
definitely. Yep, that's it. Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
yeah.
Yeah,
If you have
my
a good
brother does
income,
that.
say that again.
My brother does that.
Yeah. If you have a good income or and you it's pretty consistent and you want to set yourself up for, retirement plus other things, it's definitely the better way to go. The problem is not everybody knows how much money they're going to make 6 years down the road. And if you commit to a certain amount per year, like 50 grand, for instance, let's say you make 150 grand a year, but you're going to live kind of conservative for the next 10 years conservatively, and you're willing to put in, 5 grand a month, let's just say, I don't know, 50 grand a year. You got to stick to that. If 1 year goes by and you cannot put 50 grand and you only put 35 in, you can borrow the other 15K from what you've already put in to make up for that year, but it does take out of the total. So it's kind of interesting. It's very interesting, actually. And oh, by the way, these things are backed by some of the largest, biggest, oldest insurance companies in the world. Some of these insurance companies have been around for 150 years. So pretty much guaranteed. They have to say not guaranteed, but it's guaranteed.
And isn't it that the loophole how you can borrow and not pay taxes?
Yeah, so that 50K a year that you're putting in is tax deferred to a degree. So you're reducing your tax liability on that 50 grand worth of income. So let's say you made 150 grand that year, you put 50 into that thing, you're really only being taxed on the other 100. You're not being taxed on that 50. And so it's still your money and you can still borrow against it. You're just putting it into something else. It's what wealthy people do, guys. It's what rich people do to defer their taxes, lower their taxes, reduce their tax liability. And then if you add investment in real estate to it, let's say you bought a 10-unit apartment building, or like me, 50-unit, 100-unit apartment building. And I have partners, by the way. I don't do that by myself, but the purchase price, 1.8 million, you can do what's called a cost segregation on that purchase and write off all of that and all of the expenses to rehab that apartment or do whatever you got to do to get it rentable, and write all of that off as depreciation on your tax return. So investing in real estate is one of the best ways to eliminate your income tax from your other businesses or your other income. And your money is still yours. It's growing, it's invested, but you can write that off. And there are ways to do it properly, guys. Obviously, using a separate holding company to invest through, and then any income you make. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a tax attorney, so I definitely recommend you consult with one. But I've talked to enough of them to at least be able to parrot the information to you. Is that if you right now you make money, let's just say you have a business and you go out. Let's say your business is lawn care. Just for the sake of this example, it doesn't matter what you do. But you go out and you cut someone's lawn and they pay you, and they pay XYZ lawn care company, right? And every week you take the profit out of that lawn care company and put it in your personal checking account and you live off it and spend it, then that's a pass-through entity, nothing wrong with it, but that's a pass-through LLC, your business, and you're just, the money's just passing through to you. You're the owner, so you're taking all the profit and you're living off that, spending it and paying your bills. That's how most people do things. But the right way to do it would be you have XYZ lawn care company that goes out and does all the work and generates the income. People pay XYZ lawn care company. The money goes into XYZ lawn care company LLC. Then every week or every month, you take a disbursement from XYZ lawn care company into Nico Makuris holding company or whatever it is. It would be a separate LLC holding company that you manage or run or own, that you're the manager of, right? And that would take the disbursement. This would be a C corporation, let's just say. And then you work for that company. Okay. Now you might say, why would I have to set up another holding company? Because you switch that to a C corporation and now you're not paying so let's just say XYZ lawn care company brings in $500,000 in a year and it sends all of that money to the holding company instead of to you. So instead of you getting taxed on $500,000, it goes to the holding company. And then you managing the holding company, you just take a $10,000 a month salary. So instead of you paying yourself $500,000 a year, you're paying yourself $120,000 a year, let's just say. So your income tax is only going to be on the $120,000 a year that you take as a salary from the holding company. But where's the rest of the money? The rest of the money sits in the holding company and it's not taxed at the same rate. So what do you do with that money? Well, that money you invest. And that holding company invests in, let's just say, an apartment building or a duplex, a triplex. It doesn't have to be an apartment building, it has to be a house or whatever. And you write all of that off as a tax deferred investment. So it's still your money. It's still going into other things that are growing, but you're not taxed on it as income. So you just need a proper tax attorney, tax strategist to help you set these things up. And then if you have enough depreciation on real estate, for instance, or something like that. When I say depreciation, remember, you buy a house for $500K and it goes up 10% a year in value over the next 10 years. You would think it appreciated. It didn't depreciate, but you can write off depreciation because of maintenance. So the house has wear and tear. It has storms. It needs a new roof. It needs a new gutter system. It needs a new water heater. It needs all this stuff, right? So that's what you can depreciate and write off as expenses. And if it's a rental property, then the value of it's going up over time. But is it really? Think about this, guys. If the house doubles in value in 10 years, and what really happened during that 10 years? Did the property literally go up in value 10% a year, or did the purchasing power of the value of the dollar go down during that time? So you're able to depreciate the property over the 10-year period because of wear and tear and all that stuff. And let's say the house goes up to $1 million in value, but you depreciate 250,000 or 500,000 or 100,000 every year. Okay, that's $1 million in a 10-year period that you depreciated on that property. So for tax purposes, but at the end of 10 years, the property is still worth $1 million. So, so you're basically, here's what most people do, and here's why most people stay broke and they can't wrap their head around this stuff because they're not at the level to even worry about it. Is they work, they get a job, W-2, and they trade their time for money. And at the end of the week, they get a paycheck minus their federal income tax and their Social Security and all that stuff, state tax, depending on where they live. And whatever's left over is your net income, and that's what you live off and you spend. You don't have to worry about taxes and all that stuff because it's already taken out of your check. Government's already just taken it from you. And so at the end of the year, you go to do your taxes and you got a refund. And you're all excited. Hey, I'm getting $3,000 back. I'm getting, what are you getting back? What are you getting back? And these people are running around happy about the $3,000 they're getting back. But all that means is that you overpaid by $3,000. You paid them too much during the course of the year, and you're just giving you your money back. That's all that means. Okay. You shouldn't have paid that to begin with. I'd rather not. I'd rather owe them than them owe me ever. Because that means that I'm in the rears, not them. I don't want them to be in the rears. It's like for me, I don't like paying in advance for anything because I might not be around tomorrow. Why should I give you all the money up front so you can have the benefit of all of that when I might not be? I'd rather, if something happens to me, I'd rather be in my bank account for my heirs to get, not a prepayment for the future, especially the government or the IRS. But anyway, this is not a tax call or anything like that, guys. But I think money saved is money earned. And if you really learn all of this stuff, you can add an extra 5-6 figures to your annual income by just setting up simple structures and entities and using them properly. You can't just set up a holding company for the sake of just getting around income tax. You have to literally live that way. You can't do it as a sham or a shell corporation. You actually have to take only a percentage of your income from that holding company, and you have to pay your bills and live off that. But let's say you rent a house and you have a home office. You can pay for that rent out of the holding company, not out of your personal income. So the $10,000 a month you're taking is only for your livelihood, your groceries, your doctor bills, your living expenses, any gifts and presents or things you want to buy yourself. But the holding company, where the most of the money is accumulating, that's paying your rent, that's paying your car lease, that's paying everything because you're writing all that off as a business expense.
Nico, I have just a kind of a bit of a story to tell, if you don't mind, on this topic. So over the last decade, I've built a recruitment firm from the ground up. My partners and I have built this recruitment firm. So I guide people on this topic of setting up their own, corporations versus being employees. And I help, I place high level IT talent in the market, right? But For this first several years of our org, when we were establishing, I was an S corp, and what I did was I wanted to give you some insights. I hope people are listening about what I did to kind of offset my tax burden during that time as a corporation. I'm a W-2 employee again now as we grew, but during that timeline, I basically I had set up a liquid, low risk return account, and offset my tax burden there. Set up a corporate IRA, offset my tax burden there. I reduced my tax burden extensively, like through my corporation. So, I mean, there's a lot of very strategic ways that you can avoid those tax burdens if you're not a W-2, but it's challenging when you are. So I definitely echo that, and I wanted to share that perspective. It's really hard to do it when you're a W-2 employee, but there are some workarounds for sure.
Yeah. Even if you're a low-level W-2 employee with a regular job making $500, $600, $700 a week, working at a call center, you can go into your HR department and say, I no longer would like to be paid in my name. I want to be 1099, and I want you to pay XYZ Corporation. And if you set up an LLC, you can do this, and they cannot deny you. So they would basically be switching over the payroll from paying you to your entity. Okay. And from that point forward, you can now write off your car payment, your gas, your car, and all your expenses that you have to pay to go to that job. Whereas most people never do this. So you can do it as a W-2, but most people don't because they don't have the education and understanding how money works. And that, by the way, W-2 income earners are the highest paid. I mean, the highest taxed. That is the highest tax bracket. And you would say that's not fair. They make the least amount of money. Why should they be the highest tax? Because they're the least financially competent. And they need they need payroll companies and the government and the IRS to manage it all for them. So they don't have to worry about it. It all just gets deducted. You look at your paycheck, federal's out, state's out, Social Security's out, it's all taken now. You just pick your election, you pick your dependents and all that shit. And most people they don't know what to do. So they just trust the person standing in front of them. Which one should I pick? What should I do? Okay, yeah, just sign this. This is what everyone else does. Okay, I'll just do that then. And so, and then they complain, why do rich people not pay taxes? Why are these billionaires not being taxed? It's not that billionaires don't pay tax. See, a lot of people get confused with that too. Donald Trump and Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos probably pay billions and billions of dollars in payroll tax. They just don't have personal income tax. So the more employees you have, the more taxes you're paying, and the more food you're putting on the table of more and more families. You are helping more people. So don't get mad at the rich. They employ thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people in like Amazon, for instance, Amazon. But a lot of people get mad at them because of the conditions of the work and all that stuff. That's besides the point. They employ and put food on the table and feed hundreds of thousands of people. And when those people get their W-2 paycheck, the company has to match the taxes. So the company's paying huge amounts of payroll tax. But the owner of the company pays himself $100,000 a year. Jeff Bezos' salary is $100,000 a year, W-2, and he pays taxes on that. That's it. The rest is stock options and stock, and he borrows against that and buys yachts with that. He doesn't pay taxes on that. And the company stock is worth billions. He's a billionaire on paper, but he doesn't have $1 billion in cash in the bank. None of them do. That's not how it works. Usually. I mean, maybe there is somebody who does. I would say that the owner of Telegram, he might have billions of dollars in cash because he doesn't own anything. And he's publicly said he doesn't buy anything for himself. He doesn't buy yachts. He doesn't buy cars. He doesn't buy real estate. He just wants to be free. Very few people like that. But yeah, guys, unfortunately, we live the way that the government, the way the IRS works is that they benefit and favors investors because investors contribute to the economy. So they give you, you might say, why are these rich getting special privileges? No, it's because they're doing more for society. You just don't realize it. So you set up a structure like this. Yeah, you pay less taxes. You get tax loopholes to get around things, but there's a reason. The reason why I'm able to write off a 47 unit apartment building and defer my taxes 25 years down the road, and may seem unfair to the average person, but I'm also housing 47 families. I'm providing housing. I'm doing something for people in that regard. I'm making housing affordable and providing housing conditions where the government, if you want the government to do all that, we're going to have a sad society. We're going to have a big problem if you want the government to be responsible for all that. All right, I'm gonna get off the topic. Any questions on that, by the way? I mean, I know that we talk about a lot of different things on here, and a lot of people are afraid of setting all this stuff up. Oh, I don't want to get a C corp because I'll be double taxed. Well, not if you know what you're doing. Imagine getting taxed 40% on your W-2 income and 20% on your corporate income. But if you have let's say you make $1 million a year and you don't have a corporate income, you just have a W-2, you get taxed 40%. So that would be 400,000 of your million. But if you have a C corp and out of the $1 million that you made, all of it goes into the C corp. Now you have zero W-2 income to tax, and now you have 20% corporate tax. But then you take a salary out of the corporate C corp, but you only take a fraction of the $1 million. You only take, let's just say 10%, 100 grand, and you get W-2 income for that. So yeah, you are paying 30, 40% on that 100 grand. But what about the other 900 grand? You're only paying 20% on that corporate tax. And that's only if you don't invest any of it. You just let it sit in the C corp. So yeah, it would be double taxation if you didn't know what you're doing. But if you know how to move the chips around, you can lower your taxes drastically. A good CPA, a good financial advisor can help you with that. And if they don't understand any of that, then fire them and get someone else. All right.
What would be good, Nico? A corporation to open up or a nonprofit would be better, you think?
Well, the problem with nonprofits is that they're nonprofits. So, I mean, depends. Do you want to make profit? Or do you want to make it look like you're not making any profit and live off the nonprofit and let the nonprofit buy everything and own everything and you just manage it all for the nonprofit? But you're living like a king because the nonprofit's making a lot of money, but you're not making any. So if you're doing it for the sole purpose of getting around taxes, then that can be looked at as a sham entity for the sole purpose of you avoiding or evading taxes. If you're a real nonprofit and you're really doing good in the world, or you're really trying to help people, and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of shady people out there that run nonprofits. I can think of a few off the top of my head, famous people too. And they fly around in private jets that the nonprofit owns, and they take a $300,000 a year salary from the nonprofit. So the nonprofit brings in 10 million a year, but they pay themselves 300 grand a year. So they're only paying taxes on the 300 grand, but they're living off the 10 million because the nonprofit's paying for everything for them. So there is a way to do that, but you should probably already be wealthy or have a lot of money. And if that's the case, then you can certainly set one of those up, but maybe try to do something good with it also. And so it's not just for the sole purposes of taxes.
You also have to control the board.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to keep track of all that stuff, guys, the minutes, the meetings, where the money, what's going on with the money. I mean, it's not just a matter of setting up an entity and then hoping nothing ever happens, but you actually have to comply with the law when it comes to that. Otherwise, it'll eventually you might be audited, especially if you're living high on the hog and not paying any personal taxes. They might want to know how you're doing it. And there's nothing wrong with living high on the hog and not paying personal taxes if you got the entity structures and the reasons behind it all, like you got the documents to back it all up. John says there's a lot of profit in nonprofit. Yeah, it's crazy. Guys, whenever you're at the grocery store and they say, would you like to round up, or would you like to contribute $1 to the March of Dimes or any of this nonsense? Please, guys, don't waste your money. The reason why they call it the March of Dimes is because only 10% of your dollar goes to help anybody. The other 90% goes to the administration cost of collecting the dollar. It's the biggest scam in the world. Almost all of them are scams. And the people that run them, I hate to say it. So if you believe in any big charity out there that you give to regularly, just know that the operating cost of most of them is in the 80-90% range. That means all the salaries, all the marketing and advertising and effort that it takes for them to collect $10,000 from the public. It took them $8,000 to do that. So there's only 2,000 left, which actually goes to the people that they're trying to help. The rest goes to pay the salaries of the CEO, all the managers running the different departments, all of the employees running the call centers to answer the phones to collect the money. It's a racket. You'd be better off taking your $20 and going just give it to the bum on the side of the grocery store, holding the sign, and don't even care what he does with it.
That and the company that asks for it takes your money and donates it to whatever organization, and then they use your money for their tax write-off.
Yes. That's another thing, guys. They're collecting a lot of money. Publix, for instance. I love Publix. It's the best grocery store ever. I live in Florida. For those of you who know what Publix is, it's really a nice grocery store. And they raise money for other charities and foundations. But, that money goes into their coffer, into the Publix coffer. And they have a huge collection probably. And they do give it to the charity, don't get me wrong. But they're the ones benefiting from the donation, not you. You just get guilted into doing it. That's all. Because they ask you in front of other people in line. And I smile when I say, no, thank you. I don't even care what they think. I already gave today. That's just me. But if you feel like you want to, go ahead. I would say that there is probably one really good one out there, which is the St. Jude's Children Hospital. That one, all the money.
That's the one we donate to, Nico, St. Jude's every year.
Yeah, that's the only real one. I mean, 100% of the money goes to the kids, and
our family's been donating for 20 years.
Yeah. But yeah, guys, if you want to start your own, feel free. But just make sure you're doing something like operating a real charity. Otherwise, there's other perfectly legal and lawful ways to get around taxes and reduce them.
Nico, can you show us the market cipher and what kind of signals they might be showing for Bitcoin or Ethereum, etc.?
Yes. Let's do that. Let's go over here and let me get rid of the EMA. Let me get rid of the Pi and I'll go to market cipher B. Market cipher, guys, by the way, is just let me get rid of this volume. Don't need that. Market cipher is in the Discord group in the official links channel. If you scroll up, right here, market cipher, the ultimate indicator, the only one I have ever actually endorsed. This is just my referral link. You don't have to use mine. You can go find them. But whatever discount or promotion they're having at any given time, you'll get it if you use my link. So you don't have to worry about whether you're going to get a discount or not. You will, whatever their current marketing discount is. Now, what is it? By the way, they do charge, and it is not necessarily cheap. If you go to their website,
I think it's $1,500.
Yep. $1,500 lifetime access. Something going on here. Not recognizing me. Anyway, let me go back in here. Let me click here. That's funny. I don't know if anybody's getting my link blocked. It says their proxy and firewall. That's probably just my computer here because this is my safe trading PC here. Hold on a second. Nope, that's not what I meant to do. Anyway, I'll talk about it in a minute here. Let me just go over it. So what what market cipher is it's a bundle of indicators. It's probably every indicator that ever existed bundled into one, and it's pretty accurate. So as you can see down here, market cipher B on the chart, and I'm not going to explain what all of this is, but the green, the light green, the yellow, the blue wave, the crest of the wave, when we get up above this line or below this line, which doesn't happen often, but it does, you can see back here, that's an overbought territory. And as you can see, there is a red dot up here, right at the top of that crest. So this looks like a wave, right? It looks like a blue wave. And when the water crests over and this light blue area gets thinner and thinner and thinner, you'll usually see a red dot, red dot, red dot, red dot. That's telling you that is the top. I mean, and just look, if I put my mouse where the red dot is, just look at the dotted line going straight up, and you can see right when that red dot happened, there was a big dump. Right when that red dot happened, big dump. And I'm not talking about, there's the thing that you probably all already know of, that most indicators are lagging indicators, which means that they're telling you what already happened. They're not really predicting what's going to happen in the future. But I will tell you this, that Market Cipher is probably the only one that I've ever seen that actually, when you see that red dot happen, that was on this candle right here, this green one. When the red dot happened, this happened afterwards, not before. So this is this is the reason why I like it, and why, if you're going to take trading seriously, you might want to consider getting it. You don't need it being in this group. I do glance at it. And once you get good at trading, you don't really need to look at it anymore because it's kind of telling you what you already know. But if you need something to kind of just confirm for you what you think you're seeing. Now, so let's look at this. So I am on the weekly. Money is flowing out. This has been happening. We did have a red dot the other day right here. That was October 13th. And we've been falling ever since. So let's just look at October 13th right here. I'm on the weekly, but let's just look at that right there. Was the red dot, and we dropped after that. So if you're trading just red dot, green dot over here on Market Cipher, you'd have been pretty lucky. Let's look at this one. This is when the money flow goes out. And by the way, here's the zero line over here. See zero? That line is right in the middle. You can see where it swaps from being above it to below it right there. When we get below it, we're in oversold territory. Like here, we drop, red dot, first of all, red dot right there. Drop, 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 drop way down here. But look where this wick down, hitting that bottom. And then look at this curve right there. Boom, green dot. If you would have went long on that green dot right there, guys, it's a hell of a pump to the upside. And then, but when you go down to the lower time frame, so if you want to scalp, go down to the 10-minute, and you're going to see it's going to look a little different on the lower time frames because it's catching scalps, or it's catching smaller little moves in the market. So,
Nico, what indicator is that?
it's called Market Cipher. This is Market Cipher B. If I go up here to
and that's only available in TradingView, correct?
It's only on TradingView. It's a license. You got to buy it, and then once you set up your account, once you buy it, and they're going to ask you for your login, your email and all that stuff, and for TradingView, and then they're going to add it here as a license. You can see the script name and see these little locks right here. So I have Market Cipher A, B, the SR, and the DBSI, and these are just different technical. But Market Cipher B is the one that I have down here, and then Market Cipher A is up here on the chart. So if I just bring this down and show you what is Market Cipher A, it's when you buy it, it's going to teach you how to use it and what to look for. So you see these purple triangles, these yellow X's, and these red diamonds and red X's, and they all mean something different. And so when you see a red diamond, for instance, that usually an indication that the market's about to drop. Red X, drop. The purple means overbought or something. I don't even remember what they all mean.
It's a trend reversal.
Trend reversal. The purple is trend reversal.
Yeah, and the yellow X is market maker moves.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Market maker. So it's basically showing you where the market makers are entering and causing problems. And then you got the purple, which is a trend reversal. It's letting you know that this little uptrend is about to end. It's pretty powerful, guys. Pretty good.
Yeah, I really like that, especially for somebody like me, like you know, military. So it's like colors and stuff like that really work out. I'm
Yeah.
trying to learn I'm trying to learn the RSI and what they're all meaning. And when you can put it all in conjunction with the colors and symbols and stuff like that, I see this as an invaluable tool for somebody who's still learning. And so
yeah, it really is.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks, Sandra. And by the way, guys, I always tell everybody, first of all, you join this group, there is no upsell. You don't have to pay for anything else. You don't have to do anything else. But people always ask me, what is that you have on the bottom of this chart? And sometimes I have this on one screen, this whole thing on TradingView on one screen. When I'm not sharing my screen and talking to you guys, I have two big 40-inch monitors in front of me. One of them has this on one side and the other one has my Phemex on the other side. And so I glance over, I see, so if you are going to take trading seriously, which I hope you guys do, but some of you may not realize yet how serious you are going to be with it and how serious it can change your life when you really have all the right tools. I mean, when I first started trading, guys, I had an old Dell computer from my old office. The monitor was one of those 16-inch monitors, those little round, and the back of the monitor was like that big, long, weird-looking box. Remember those old monitors? And then even when I thought I was being cool, when I really got serious about trading, I had like 6 of those lined up on my desk. 6 of those long-ass monitors in the back. You know how goofy that looked? But there was no such thing as flat screens. So there was no flat screens back then. But now you can just get one nice big monitor, 40-inch or whatever, and you can have multiple screens or tabs on just that one screen if you want to. But I got to that point where I had 6 big monitors, and then I finally realized I don't really need all that stuff. You don't need it, guys. You don't need as much as you think you need. But certain tools like Market Cipher certainly can come in handy, if anything, just to confirm what you already think is happening. Like, it's a good thing to confirm. Like when you see this right now, you see right down here on the 10-minute time frame, if you went long down here on this green dot, you may not be closing this out. You may say, should I close this out and take the profit? Well, not yet. I mean, this wave hasn't crested yet, but when it does, it's going to look like this. It's going to climb, 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 climb. Red diamond, red dot, get out, take your profit. Drops, money flows out, money flows back in. Go long, green dot. Climb, 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 climb. Red diamond, red dot, get out. So that's scalping. If you want to do that on the 10-minute time frame, you can do that all day long, 24 hours a day. That's the only problem with it, guys, is that you can get addicted to, pulling money out of thin air every day. So I guess there could be other problems and other things to be addicted to that could be worse, but than making money. But yeah, so I mean, that's the only one that I ever endorsed or have in my Discord as an official link. It is a referral link. So just in total transparency, I get like, I don't know, 20, 30 bucks if you buy or sign up, but it doesn't come out of your money. So they're just rewarding me for introducing it. But I think that's fair, since you wouldn't have heard about it if it wasn't for me. So, but you're going to, any discount that they're giving at any promotion that they're giving at any given time, you will get it, even if you're just using my link. So
I have a question on that scalping you were talking about.
Yeah.
When you do that, are you just buying it like at spot and then selling it quicker, or are you actually putting stop losses and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, you can do it on. I never trade on spot. I always trade on futures with leverage. But yeah, you can do it with leverage. Go long, go short. Just you can do it with high leverage if you want, if you put a tight stop loss. But and you can do it with very little money. But here's what I would recommend. If you're going to scalp using Market Cipher, as soon as you buy Market Cipher, make sure you go through their coaching inside of Market Cipher, so that you understand what everything means, and the And they have examples of best strategies to use on different, depending on the time frames. Also, guys, just for some more clarity on that, the guy who invented Market Cipher is a young guy. His name is Crypto Face on YouTube. Now, I will warn you, when you go and find Crypto Face, he is a little crazy. He might even be drunk when you see him live on YouTube. But he makes hundreds of thousands of dollars a day trading Bitcoin futures contracts and crypto. And he says the most outlandish things while he's trading, like he is drinking. And he is kind of crazy, but he's funny. But he doesn't teach like we do. He created Market Cipher because that's what he uses, and that's how he makes money. And he trades live publicly just to show as an example of how it works. And of course, that makes people want to buy it. And so he doesn't really have to teach or do anything or show people how to do it. He just created that. He's just hoping that you know what you're doing, but you don't. You can just use his indicators, but you still need to understand what you're doing. But the guy has like $6 million or $10 million in his account, and he's going long with 20x leverage. So he's trading with 20 million, and he makes 500 grand on one trade. Doing the same thing we're doing. He just does it with a lot more money, which is fun to watch sometimes.
So
Yeah.
back to the market cipher on Bitcoin. Was it saying anything or was it showing anything? I don't guess seen it because we were there and then we kind of backed up and we're talking about market cipher.
Let me go back. Sorry, 1 second.
Thanks.
I mean, we pumped up to 104K, 104.3. As you can see on the hourly, Bitcoin's been pumping up pretty nice. And market cipher down here, there was a green dot earlier. I will go and show you in the Discord why you got to be careful who you're listening to and who you're watching. If you look in our regular trade chat, a lot of people post a lot of things. They get worried about a lot of things. Like this right here, for example. No offense, Steve. Nothing bad about what you were saying, because this was certainly possible. But what happened is that all it did was come to this resistance. So when you got resistance, 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 and resistance, and resistance, and then we break above it and test, and then bounce. So really, whenever we break previous resistance, not only that, but we had a low and a higher low. And so this one was, when it came and hit that and bounced, it was a higher low again, which was this right here. Let me just zoom out so you can see it. Then this was curving around like this, boom, hit that, bounce, and then went up. But this line right here was where it bounced, was basically previous resistance. Resistance, resistance, support, 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 climb. But if you look at market cipher, once it came around like that, and boom, we had a green dot right here, and that was the climb since then.
Nico, can you show us, please?
I'm not showing.
I don't see it.
You guys see my screen?
I see your screen. It's just,
Yeah, we see it.
Not
I
the
think he wants to see micro.
not the market cipher screen.
Yeah.
Phemex.
Hold on 1 second, because I was sharing my screen that whole time.
yeah, we saw your Phemex screen. We didn't see the
Yeah,
market.
that's weird. I don't know why I did that. Hold on 1 second. So you didn't see anything I was showing you. So what I was basically showing was, did you see the example I gave in the Discord? So when I was talking about the Discord, I think it was Steve Gossett that posted this yesterday,
Yeah,
showing
we
that
saw
this would come around, but it bounced here and went up. And that was basically this curve right here. It went up, bounced, and then started to climb. But on Market Cipher, this is the curve right here, and then bounced and started to climb. But as you can see here, we had a green dot right on that bounce, green dot, big wave, big money flow out, or in rather, money flowing in. This is money flowing out to the downside. Money flowing in, money flowing in. The green line is the RSI. On Market Cipher, it's a little different. Instead of a blue line crossing the orange line, it's basically red to green. When it turns green, it's the cross. When it turns red, it's the cross. So it's been green this whole time, which is positive. We got money flowing in. We got the wave cresting up here, but you can see that the wave, the crest of the wave is getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter, getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And look at that. We got another green dot up here. Who's the Market Cipher expert in here? What's the green dot up there mean?
I think it's trend continuation.
Continuation.
Green circles bullish. The wave trend waves are at the oversold level.
Yeah, so that's a continuation pattern, continuation marker right there. Bullish, 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 bullish. Still going. And it could do one of these guys where it comes up like this. Goes up higher, goes up higher. Like this, where it looks like it's curving and then it just goes up higher. It can go all the way up to this dotted line up here. That's what it's showing right now on the hourly, which is all good. You can see the money flow from out to back in, and it could continue to wave up like this up here. Like this. And then just go a little higher and then go a little higher. Very similar to this right here. Green. We did have a little bit of a pullback after that, but then it went higher. And here it was green, green, red, and then green right after that. That's the only one problem that I ever see on the lower time frames on Market Ciphers, that you could get a indecisive candle where it shows red and then goes green right after. But it did drop, right? I mean, that red, it did go down a little bit first before it went back up. So it isn't inaccurate. It's just, you just got to be careful if you're scalping. So I would say 1 hour and above time frames would be safer, guys. Nothing's going to happen so fast that you can't make a change if you need to, if you're going to use it. And do I think it's worth it? Yeah, it's worth it. Like I said, if you're going to take this seriously, you want to get as good as possible, it might as well have the best tools that you can have. I think it's $600 a year or $1,500 one-time lifetime access. And then I think you have to have a pro account on TradingView, which could be, I don't know, $19 a month or $200 a year for that. I'm not so sure if you have to have a pro account or not to have Market Cipher on there. All right, guys, it is 5 minutes till. Let's see what's going on the news. Is Trump saying anything? Is he saying anything good? Is that why we're bullish?
Oh, could I ask a quick question, please?
Yes.
I'm not sure if I'm going to say it right, but this Shimoku cloud, can you explain what that is?
A what cloud?
It's ICHIMOKU.
Ichimoku.
Yeah, it's like a big foggy mist that shows on the chart.
Yeah, it's an indicator. I just I don't really use it, but let's just go look at it. The Ichimoku.
Yeah, is that how you say it? Okay.
Yeah, I don't either, but I think there is one or two people on the call that do use it, that have posted chart.
I mean, we're above it right now, which is positive.
Okay, so we need to be above it to be positive.
I mean, being above it is more bullish. I mean, once we get a below it, to me, it's like the EMA ribbon.
Okay.
Let me go over and look at that. Let me just show you that. So the EMA ribbon, we are getting back above it, but let's just go to a time frame that matters. Let's go to the weekly. We are still, I mean, this is the positive thing, guys, right here. So very similar to the cloud. This is the EMA ribbon. Generally
Yeah,
speaking, when we're above it, it's good. It's positive. When we're below it, it could mean bear market. So if we get below it, or if we wick down to the bottom of it, we need to get back above it. If we wick down to the bottom of it, we shouldn't stay below it long. When we stay above it, it's bullish. We're moving up in the upward direction. When we trend down or consolidate and we get into it, when we touch it and then we get sucked into it, we tend to wick down to the bottom. It's usually a big drop down. So from here to here was like a 30% drop. From here to here, 30% drop. And from here to here, 17, 18% drop. And we came all the way down to the bottom of it. You can see, look at it, wicked right down to the bottom. So if all you had was the EMA ribbon and you saw this line coming down here and it was getting all the way there, as soon as it hit that bottom line, you could have went long. That's why these indicators and these tools are effective on the right time frames, guys, if you know what to look for. So I don't just look at one. I don't just look at market cipher. I don't just look at the EMA. I don't just look at the pi cycle. I try to look at all of them. And if there's 5 different things that need to match up for me to think something's going to happen, and I see 4 check marks, but not 5, but 4 out of the 5 are checking off, I'm going to bet on that. I'm going to say that's good enough for me. 3 out of 4, good enough for me. 4 out of 5, good enough for me. But if it's 1 out of 5 things, like someone says, "Oh, Nico, look at the Ichimoku or look at the pie chart," and I see, okay, yeah, it's doing something right now, but all the other indicators are saying bearish, but this one is saying bullish. Well, I'm not going to rely on that one because everything else is showing that we could still see some downward trending. So I'm going to go with what the majority of all of the indicators are showing me and not just pick one. Nothing wrong with the Ichimoku. I just don't personally use it because to me, it's a combination of several other things that we already use, like the RSI and perhaps the EMA ribbon and maybe even the Gaussian channel. So if we look at the Gaussian channel is also like green fog rolling in. And I use that on the 5-day, and we did dip down to the center line on the 5-day. And as you can see, that's happened a few times in this bull market. One, we came down to it and bounced. We went to the center line and bounced, couldn't get out, came back down to the center line and bounced, couldn't get out, almost came down to the center line, but we got out. And then we continued to a higher high. And then we come down and we get to the center line again and bounce out, make a higher high. Come down to the center line again. Hopefully we're bouncing out and we will make a new high. And that high will be somewhere over here. That would be great. Somewhere up in this range, which would be the 137, 140, 138 range. And that seems very feasible to do for the remainder of this bull market, somewhere up here, and maybe even have a big spike up, 150, 160. Liga in our groups seems to think the 150 range is the 1.6 on the fib. My indicators say 170 might be 178, 177 is the top of the 1.6 on the Fibonacci, which could happen still in this bull market. And that could happen depending on where you put this, could be up here somewhere in the 160, 170 range for one more big push out of this Gaussian channel. However, usually, guys, when we get sucked into Gaussian channel, if we don't get out and it comes down to that center line and we can't get out, it's usually the beginning of a bear market. Gaussian channel, bounce on it, come down to the center line, can't get out, bear market. Gaussian channel, come down, bounce on it, come down to the center line, bounce, can't get out, bear market. That's the problem. It's like quicksand. So this year, though, however, we got out of it like 3 times already. I mean, we bounced into it here to the center line, got out. Bounced to the center line, got out. Bounced to the center. How many more times are we going to get out? I don't know. But we're not quite out of it yet. We came down to the center line and we're on our way back up, but we're still in it. And by the way, this is on the 5-day chart for the Gaussian channel. E Bizarro says, what caused Zcash to take off? I do not know. I do not know. Let me go look. We don't have, by the way, guys, it's 2:01. Today is Wednesday. So please get on Bill's basics call. If you're brand new in here, don't stay on this call. Get on Bill's basic call. It started right now. He already put the link in the Discord and in the Zoom chat that we're on right now. If you scroll up, you'll see it, but also in the Discord, in the announcements channel, and in the main chat. Please, if you're brand new, get on his basics call. Even if you've been on it before once or twice, get on it again. Let's go look at ZEC. I got about 5 more minutes here, guys. Let's look at that. Yeah, I mean, it has gone nuts. I think we look, obviously I got lines drawn on this, so we did look at it recently. Let me get rid of the Ichimoku. I don't really care too much for the Ichimoku. Doesn't really tell me much other than we're above it. Yeah, I mean, we're pumping and we broke the upward trending. I mean, depending on where you even put this upward trending resistance line, we could just be hitting it, or we could have already broke through it. But I can't tell you, but something crazy is going on here. Is that Zcash? Is that what ZEC is? I can't remember. All right, John. Yeah, get on Bill's call. Yeah, Zcash is definitely pumping. It's doing some crazy shit right now. I don't know, man. I mean, that is serious. That's a serious pump to the upside. I mean, man, I mean, it was literally just $45. This is 10x. 10x just in a month. That is nuts. That's like Bitcoin going from 15K to 150K in a month. Son of Al, Zcash, help me pay my rent this month. Awesome. Glad to hear it. Yeah, I'll have to do a little research on that. I don't have enough time to really understand what's going on with Zcash right now or why it's pumping like this. Someone else might know more than me. In fact, I'm sure someone does know more than me, especially if you're already making money with it. Son Evil, you might know. I don't know. Why are you in it? Why did you get in it? Just because it was pumping, or is there news? What's the news on Zcash?
No, I basically saw it ramping up about a month ago, and I just jumped in because with what was going on with CZ, I don't even know if he's involved in it actually, but on the news and then what it looked like on the charts, I just hopped into it and on Coinbase a couple weeks ago. I just watched it, and as I saw it just pumping and pumping, I pushed most of my liquidity into it.
Yeah.
And so it's just been racking up just continuously. But I don't know.
William, you sent me question marks. I'm not sure what you're questioning. Feel free to jump out. I cannot decipher the question.
Nick, I was asking you the same question that Jason did earlier about who you use for IUL.
Oh. Yeah, send me a DM in Discord and I'll give you that information.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. XRP pumping. Up 30% since this morning. Let's just see. I mean, I am because I'm at leverage, but it's up about 4%. Let's just go to a lower time frame, see what it's doing here. I mean, looking very similar to Bitcoin. It just broke out of the downward trending channel, retested, had this little curve, bounced, and is climbing. So it's still correlating with Bitcoin, guys. We'll know when XRP is not correlating with Bitcoin anymore. The chart will start to look different. It'll break away and it will take off, hopefully, to the moon, and you'll all get rich, assuming that you have lots of XRP. But man, buying it down here at this price, I think would be the smart thing to do.
Quick question, Nico, about DCAing into XRP.
with two different accounts. If you eventually combine those accounts, will it calculate the price, the cost basis of each account when you combine them?
No, I don't think so. Two different accounts on the same platform or different?
No, on different platforms. I have some on Coinbase and I have some on Phemex. So if I decide to, take the Coinbase account and just transfer the XRP over to Phemex, does it calculate the cost basis for both
No.
purchases? Okay.
It would not know what you bought when, I don't think. You can keep that. You can just remember or maybe write it down how much you bought on such and such date or what price.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to automatically do that. If you leave
But
it
it
on
doesn't really
Coinbase,
matter, I guess, in the grand scheme of things, once it starts going to, to higher prices.
yeah. I mean, it's for your own knowledge, your own information. I mean, I bought a lot at 49 cents. I had some already at 15 cents. And then we went long at 49 cents in this group. And, but I bought a lot since then. But now that I have more conviction behind it and I understand pretty much what they're working on behind the scenes, I'm pretty confident that we're going to see double, triple, and maybe even quadruple digit numbers in someday in the future. And
that's great.
Yeah. So, I mean,
I wish I would have caught it at 49 cents.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I just think that, anything under, a lot of people are like, should I wait for it to drop down to $1.80 before I buy it? No, I don't think so. I don't think that's smart.
Yeah. I caught it on
you
this
would be
dip.
kicking yourself. If it hits $10 or $20, are you going to really care about that 20-cent savings that you could have?
Not really. Thanks, man.
Yes, sir. Good luck. Let me check something here real quick.
What was on Trump news?
What was that? Something about Trump?
He was saying something about Florida, but you changed it up, yeah. And I don't know where you even saw that, so I was interested in seeing what you were putting on the screen.
Yeah, my 7,632%. I don't know if it's XRP that's up 7,600. Yeah, I'm on all time. It's up 7,000% all time, but 340% this year in the last year. So a lot of people who think that XRP isn't moving, if all this good stuff's happening, why is it still only $3? Well, it's up 347% in the last 12 months. That's not nothing. Without leverage, without you doing anything. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. If you want to have a continuation of this, just hop over on Bill's basics call. He goes over a lot of stuff. And even if you've been on it before, you might see some things that you need to be reminded of. I think that we're going to hopefully continue up today. We might have a consolidation or a pullback. But I don't know if it's going to pull back that far. As far as we came down. I mean, is it possible? Yeah. I mean, we could still go down and this could just be the big bounce at 98. And then we do a nice big round overall upside down inverted cup and handle and then drop all the way back down to 91K. Everything is possible. But for that to happen, just go up to the higher time frames. This is Bitcoin right here. Take your line right here at the very tippity top of the all-time high, 126, and draw your downward trending resistance. Well, we've had a couple. So look at this. This is what I would have said it was before this happened. So as you can see, resistance, resistance. We come up and hit resistance. We hit resistance. We break out. And then we come back down and retest the support. And then we have a lower And then we break through all the way down here, double bottom down here, climb back up, resistance, resistance, and we break out. That's one way to look at it. But if we're going to do some spider lines on here, I will take another one right from the 126. And this time I will go maybe there. And then another one to the top. So these are the levels we got to get through, I think. And right about getting it back above here and getting above this top one right here would be somewhere around the 110, 110.5. That is when I would say we are back in the game for the bull market. We have the opportunity to then get back up here to all-time high territory and break it. That's still a 14% move to the upside from 110. I mean, in order to get us back to all-time high, that's a 21% move from where we're at. So we got a lot of resistance to get through to get up there. But if you look at it this way and you just look at where we've been, this is what's called a falling wedge, or a, yeah, I would say good falling wedge. And they tend to be bullish. I mean, you go back far enough, as you can see, that there's all kinds of ways to see support and resistance. That is really the magic number right there, the 123 right here. So I would say that's what we really need to get above, 123. We got about a 12% move to the upside from there. And we're on our way. Every time we've hit this, every time we've hit this, every time we've hit this, we had a nice bounce, but we came down lower afterwards, except for here. This was an all-time high. So we come down, bounce, 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 lower lows and lower highs. So that's why I'm concerned that if we don't get back above this 110, we could just have another lower low and it would look like this. We come all the way up to 107. Even if we broke that, that's great. And we come up to 110. If we can't get through that, guys, and we fall back down, then it would look like something like this. Boom. And we come down to that CME gap. Bam. And then we're back out, back to the races again. One more time. And then, you know, this could just be a larger, longer falling wedge, and we could just be getting tighter and tighter and tighter until we finally break out to the upside. When we finally do, then we could have a parabolic move to the upside. And that could happen. That could happen over here, or it could happen here. This, hopefully this is the bounce. Hopefully this is it. And we climb out. So I'll keep you posted on what I see. Obviously you can see it too. But if I see us getting up to this level, you know, I'll be moving my stop loss up into profit, because if we hit that and we start to come back down and we do not make a higher high here, guys, that's important. We need to make a higher high, probably right here at the 110, but it's going to be over here. Then I'm afraid it's going to be a lower low, another lower low or lower high. But it's nothing to really be afraid of, because we just make money in either direction. So it doesn't really matter when you're trading, but it just might not be ready for that big parabolic move to the upside yet. And the fact that that pi cross is so far away, the pi cycle cross is so far away, I mean, the only way for that to get closer is for us to hurry up and get to it and get up high. So if we start to, so if that happens, we will start to see big moves quicker. But what is the catalyst going to be that's going to cause that? It can't just be bouncing on the 98K that causes that. Could be. Could be, but we have to get above 110. So right now we are in a range. Let me just show you this one more time. This is the range, guys. I didn't put it on my trading view, but what I would do if I were you is I would go to 110, 110.5 and do a price range between 110.5 and 98K, which is where we bounced down here, and 110.5 right there. It doesn't even have to go back far. It could just be right to where we're at, right where the 110 I mean, the 98 and the, somewhere in this zone. As long as we stay in that range, it's still kind of bearish. We got to break above this range. We got to get above 110 to break out of that range. Because anything in this range, it could just mean we come up to here and come back down. All right, guys. By the way, we're having our webinar tonight instead of Thursday night, instead of tomorrow night. So you guys are welcome to jump on. Just ask for the link later on. It's gonna be a live webinar for the public, but it's gonna be mostly me. Chad's not feeling well. He had like mouth surgery or whatever. He can hardly talk. So I'm just gonna be trading.
Leave them in for a little bit longer.
Hello? I knew they weren't done. I was like, wow.
Sarah, I'm going to mute you out if you're not talking to me. So guys, if you guys want to get on that, just ask for the link in the main chat. We also post it in the free Facebook group, so you can always find it in there as well under my video. But no problem, Sarah. It's all good. Trump talking crypto right now, Liga says. Watch that. Pay attention to the chart, but I wouldn't be reactive to him or anything that they're saying. I think that we could see some positive news. Trump's, he'll say something negative, the market drops, he'll come back and say, oh yeah, but me and China, we're friends now. Everything's worked out. And then prices change again and the market gets better. So he's definitely manipulating the markets with his words, maybe whether he realizes it or not. I'm sure he realizes it. He's got some insiders buying and selling. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. See you tonight on the live webinar, and we'll be back to normal after that. And then I'll keep you posted if I see any changes. Get on Bill's call right now if you can.